In just the past few days, as Joe Biden and these U.S. public health experts have talked about this broad vaccine requirement as a necessary tool to fight the spread of the Delta variant, which is as easily transmissible, we've been told by the public health experts, as measles. But in light of that, people like, pick one, I know, Ron DeSantis, this crazy son of a bitch who's the governor of Florida. DeSantis has shifted his focus, devoting much of his time now to fighting any business or government agency that would require workers to get the shot. First it was masks, and now this psychotic son of a bitch who is the governor of a state of 30 million people, 25 million, whatever it is. And this is what he said last week during a stop in Gainesville, Florida, to denounce that city's employee vaccine requirement. This Nazi fucker goes out of his way to make a trip to Gainesville to denounce the Gainesville city employee vaccine requirement. This is what we're up against. This is what he said, quote, "These big government mandates strip away people's rights to make the best decision for themselves. But we are going to protect Floridians from federal and local government overreach." End quote. If that is not insanity, murderous insanity, criminal insanity, there are institutions for the insane, yes, they still exist, and for the criminally insane. DeSantis, by the way he talks about this shit, is criminally insane. And his insane stance is now the prevailing view of the Christian fascist Republican Party in this country, with Texas, with the sitting governor there, Greg Abbott, and this miserable little worm who's the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp. Also, both of these Christian fascists stepping forward to oppose local mandates because they're protecting individual liberty. A fucking shot, a vaccine against a killer disease, and to require that? Well, where were you, scum bastards, you Christian fascists, all these years about the requirements of every single school district in America to have certain childhood vaccines administered to the kids before they showed up for school? Well, the difference between then and now is that the Christian fascists back then had not gotten to the position of political power at which they've arrived now. It's been a long, slow process for these murderous bastards to work their way into positions of power, to the point where they now control governorships in so many states, state legislatures, seats in Congress, both the House and the Senate. But this is insane. Surely you understand what I'm saying, and surely you agree that this is insane. We can disagree on every other thing, but this idea, excuse me, this idea of the governors saying, no mandates where it concerns vaccination, which means simply, I don't care how you twist it around, it means we want more death. That's the only thing it means. We want more people dead. I don't care how they phrase it. Individual liberty, my ass. The individual liberty to condemn your children to die? Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Jesus Christ. And in Virginia, there's a governor's race going on up there, right? Huh? This November, they vote. And the Republican challenger, some Christian fascist named Glenn Youngkin, said in a debate last week, quote, individuals should be allowed to make that decision on their own, end quote. Whether or not, no, you rotten bastard, that's not true. Because if you decide not to do what medical science is saying do, you're putting my life at risk. And fuck you. I mean, you don't have a right with your Christian insanity. You don't have a right to run around dribbling virus all over the place and infecting other people. What gives you the right to do that, you Christian fascist morons? God, I hate these people. Have I mentioned that yet tonight? Whew. Oh, my God. And yesterday, Sunday, in Mississippi, that crazy overweight white man down there who's the governor, Tate Reeves, boy, he's well fed, isn't he, huh? Porcine looking creep. His state leads the country in the rate of COVID deaths per 100,000 residents. Tate Reeves, you ugly you're ugly as well as being a Christian fascist. Oh, I know that's a very stupid ad hominem attack on my part, but I don't care. I really don't care. Anything that I can say to strip these bastards of any form of humanity, I will say it, because they are demonstrating the complete lack of humanity. But Tate Reeves, who leads the country, his state leads the country in deaths per 100,000 residents, he warned on CNN that the entire country would be, in his words, deep, deep trouble if a president has, his words, unilateral authority to impose vaccine requirements. Now, again, these Christian fascists totally fuck up the issue with their obfuscating language. Biden is not telling the country that they must get vaccinated. He does not have that power, and I'm sure doesn't want that power, right? But what he is saying is that as the employee, let's put it this way, of millions of federal workers, the employer, he does have the right to issue mandates where it concerns getting a vaccine, getting a shot. But what this ugly fascist governor of Mississippi is saying, well, he doesn't have a right to order people to get a vaccine. Nobody is saying he does. He's not saying he does, Tate. You slob. Jesus. But the Christian fascists, you see, they have this increasingly combative rhetoric about mandates and pandemic policies. As the Washington Post puts out, like Governor DeSantis and Greg Abbott's executive orders barring schools from requiring everyone to wear masks. That makes it impossible, literally impossible, for this country to move past this virus. These are dealers in death and destruction. That's what they are about. And we just keep putting up with it. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.